Very good morning. Welcome to Financial Freedom Show. I'm CS Sudhir. Mr. Narayan Swamy has posted a question on the Financial Freedom app. He says, what all to be checked while purchasing a flat or an apartment? See, today, because of our urbanization, we all are living in apartment societies. While purchasing apartments, we look at budget, we look at convenience, but we forget to check the legality, the clear title of the property. Why it is important? Because you would have noticed these days, recently we witnessed in Kerala a huge apartment block was demolished. We have seen this happening even in Bangalore kind of cities. We have seen this happening across all major cities in India. So if you want to know what are the things to be considered while purchasing an apartment, I'll give you simple 7 parameters. If you can consider that, if you can evaluate across these 7 aspects, you should be able to buy the right one. Number 1, I want you to ensure that you don't buy any apartment or a flat where there is no OC and CC. OC is that occupancy certificate which the concerned authority issues post completion of the project. CC, commencement certificate, is the one which they have to procure, which they have to acquire from the concerned authority, the local authority like municipality or corporation, before starting the project. Without having these 2 documents, you're not supposed to buy. Many properties, in fact, before RERA, 90% of the properties never had these kind of documents. I mean, they had CC, but they never had OC. And they were openly saying, hey, I only have 8% deviation, I only have 15% deviation, which is acceptable. That's not acceptable, because that will lead to too many other problems later, so please take care of that. Second, I want you to ensure is the kata. The kata has to be given. So if the kata, like in Bangalore kind of cities, what happens, we have something called A kata, B kata. What is A kata, B kata? The property is A kata, the land is A kata, but then the apartment, due to some kind of deviations in the plan, it has become a B kata property. Then what happens? It becomes literally illegal. I mean, the government reserves the right to demolish it. You would have seen this happening quite often in the Mumbai. In BMC keeps demolishing such unauthorized construction, right? So that is something which you need to take care. And then fire safety, whether the builder has taken care of the fire safety across the apartment. Because if something goes wrong, you'll have your family staying there, you'll have your old parents staying there. Unless until there is a proper fire safety, we all will be in trouble. So I want to take care of that aspect. And then you need to consider the plan approval, whether the plan is being approved by the concerned authority, and if there is any deviation from the plan. That is something we need to check. And then open area, which this really matters, because a lot of times what happens, these apartment complexes will not really have any extra space for your kids to play, or they wouldn't have actually left any extra space for walking, jogging track, things like that. So that's something which you need to consider. And then the water source, which is again very important, whether they have a borewell, whether they have any other common water supply. What is the water supply? Otherwise, what will happen? They'll start purchasing water from the tankers. That's not sustainable, and that will increase your maintenance cost. And then you need to look into the loan approval, whether this project is being approved by leading banks. If there are more, banks approving the loan for this property, which means this property has got some decent, title and the legal documents. But I still want you to speak to a good advocate and get your documents verified, because sometimes what happens, banks may sanction a loan, it doesn't mean that the property has got a clear title. There may be issues. So this is why we have designed a detailed course on real estate, which includes purchasing an apartment, purchasing an independent house, or purchasing a flat on a plot of land, or purchasing a commercial building and agricultural land. All these things can be learned in this course. Please download Financial Freedom app from Play Store App Store and watch the 57 courses we've got on career, business, farming and business on Financial Freedom app. If you have any questions related to these things, please post your questions in the Financial Freedom app. I will answer your questions in my next episode. Thanks for watching. Be wise, get rich.